Namaskar.
Namaskar, how are you?
I'm so good.
Nice. It's really nice to be doing this podcast with you.
So, what would you like to know about the negative energy?
Okay, so if I talk about just energy, not negative energy or positive energy. So let's start with a very scientific definition of energy, which is energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. ये हमने स्कूल में सीखा था. एनर्जी
जी,
ये होता है जैसे जैसे हम बड़े हुए, जैसे जैसे हमारा
आपको थोड़ा लाउड होना पड़ेगा, माइक के नजदीक आई।
ओके, एनी बेटर?
यस।
ओके, सो जैसे जैसे हम बड़े हुए, जैसे जैसे हमने दुनिया देखी, हमको पता चला कि एनर्जी सिर्फ काइनेटिक एनर्जी और फूड एनर्जी के अलावा एंटिटी, नेगेटिव पॉजिटिव बहुत कुछ है. सो हाउ डू यू मेक दिस सेग्रीगेशन कि नेगेटिव क्या है और पॉजिटिव क्या है व्हेन एनर्जी इज जस्ट रॉ एनर्जी?
सी, अगर हम इसको दो तरीके से दें, वी कैन सी दिस फ्रॉम द टू पर्सपेक्टिव. One we say positive energy, one we say negative energy. So these are the two interactions of the energy. Where in the scientific term, this is how we define the different forms. That one is a negatively charged in the atom, one is positively charged. In the electricity also we use this terminology. But both are very important because without that the light that we are using, we cannot be able to use that. So this is one way of looking at the energy. In the respect of today's seminar, today's talk, or today's podcast, or whatever you call it, it is about the dense energy and the light energy. See, when we say the negative energy, actually we mean by the density of the energy.
Okay.
Is it clear?
So, how do you identify the density of this energy? Is there a measurement tool that you use?
Yes, we do use the measurement tool. We use the our own powers as to decide because we have been trained on this subject by my master, or this has been the training we have gone through. This is something when you self-realize yourself, you know the soul. You can sense the energy. There are various ways that one can actually look into the energy. So different, the senses which is active within oneself. Somebody can visually see, somebody can listen to the energies, somebody can feel the energies. And there is a process where you don't do either of them, which is called clear cognizance. You just know. You don't feel, you don't see, you don't hear, but it's just, it's there.
So, if I'm understanding you correct, there's a sense of awareness and a sense of consciousness that one needs to develop to be either receptive or know that some kind of energy, good, bad, dense, or light, is around you.
I say I would like to change the word develop because the development it is like a click. The light is on, so you don't have an experience of seeing in the light. You have to develop that experience. But that power comes to us through our soul to sense the energies.
So, when we say dense energies, is it because something very bad has happened at that particular place, or is that place occupied by certain entities who have not left, who may have left their body, but in spirit are present there?
See, when we talk about these kind of energies, we need to understand the process. That once we need to understand the soul is a light energy. Okay, it is not the light that we use in the electricity or the bulbs. That is an artificial light. Not even the light which you see from the sun or the light that emits by the different planets or the different galaxies or different star systems. Soul has a very specific different frequency of light. Now, when we leave our body, Actually, the gate opens. On the 10th day, we do the ritual. But that is the time which is taken for soul to travel to that point where the soul merges with the pool of life. So that it has to pass through certain gates. Now, the first gate which is open, there are two things. Either the soul has not done the work that is actually come here to do, and he's afraid, he or she is afraid to leave this state because the soul has to go there, or the soul has so much attachment to the worldly things. Therefore, it doesn't want to go, it cannot go. And that is why we do a lot of prayers after the person leaves the body, of the person, the soul leaves the body. So at that time, the soul actually, when it goes to the places, it is holding the places. It doesn't know where to go because the gate is not open, or he is not willing to. So he cannot roam around in the space. He has to confine himself somewhere. So he occupies the space. And where in the case of the it occupies the premises, it is called haunting. The place is called haunting. When it occupies the body, it is called possession. So these are the two different kind differentiation in terms of the spirit energies.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I would also, since you've been dealing with these energies, you've been dealing with entities, why do you think, in your experience, in whatever number of years that you've been dealing with them, and I know personally that you have cured a lot of people who were possessed, you have freed them from a lot of entities as well. So, Viralji, what do you do? How do you show them the light, and how uh, people in human form who are affected by these haunted, so-called haunted entities, are freed from them? Because I think the myth that goes around, and especially when you watch these kind of shows on TV and the horror movies, the myth that goes around is that once you get trapped by an entity, it is very difficult that the entity will leave you.
So
So
you have
how
multiple
has the
questions.
success rate been so good? Sorry.
You have a multiple question. I will address each question step by step. The first question goes, as I understand you correctly, it is how do I do? No, before that, I would like you to explain few things. You mentioned about the horror films. You mentioned about our perception. We have been given a very wrong perception about the whole thing. And the fear has been instilled in us. When these energies attach to us, or cling to us, or it is haunting in the some place, it is their territory which they occupy, and the density do not allow the person to function the normal life that it wants. And because of that, the progress at the speed at which the life should travel, it doesn't travel that. So that is the biggest obstacle. That's the biggest. It's like having a lot of weight and you have to run. It is not possible. You are going to slow down, and your life is going to slow down. That is the basic purpose why this energy should leave. Secondly, any method that has been seen, they will remove from one point to the other point the energy. It doesn't require to remove. Suppose it is there in the one house. Any expert will do what? It will remove from that house, but where the energy will go, it remains still in the atmosphere. So I consider this is it will be a long talk between us on this topic. We can just talk on this topic some other time as to what are the different possibilities, what people do and what I do differently. But in short, I will only tell one thing, that we send this energy to the light forever. And it is not we in the sense that whatever energy which is working through me, we means not a group of the people, we means the group of the energy. How do I do it? It is come, this is because We have been elevated to the certain point, so we can handle the lower energies very well without any. And all the myths, all the beliefs, all the idea that we have, they are just slow in its process. And some of them are untrue in the horror films that we see, the experience people go through. Some of the things which I will share today will actually surprise you. And many of you must have gone through certain experiences like that. You never realized, you were never awakened to those ones. So that answers two sides of the question. Thirdly, currently there is a scenario which is a very different scenario. Right now, a lot of lot of energies which has come down in the atmosphere of the cosmic realm, which is not gone. And we as a human are, a lot of humans are controlled by these energies. So when we understand there are walk-ins, they just get into ourselves and operate completely out of us. There are aliens who operate through us. There are good aliens, there are not so very good aliens. There are, energies of different religion is taking over certain things. I'm not talking about any particular level. There's a group of energy is actually taking over, which you will see. Now, from the day the Kolkata riot, Kolkata rape cases happened, you will see every day something in that. So every day, actually, if I'm not wrong, 19 girls have been raped. Is it because of any human?
Yes, a lot of cases came up. Most
It
of them
is.
may have been subdued.
So there is a one more kind of energy. Now, I'm talking this with full awareness, and I want people to be little more sensitive toward this topic. There are two different kind of spirit energies. They only have a physical relationship with you during the night. So they have the male genders and they have the female genders. It's not only happens with the females. Many of us have gone through certain experiences, but we don't realize. We consider this is a suppressed sexuality. We consider this as at times one of the incidents, but no, they suck our energies. They pull our energies. They thrive on our energies. They cannot get the energies from anywhere else. So they need human energies to survive. That is, we deplete in our energies. That's why we feel low at times. Certain house you will go, you will actually drain yourself completely. If you are energy sensitive, certain things which you eat will drain you. Because the energies which are around you, with you, will just make you dense. It is not necessarily that somebody is possessed and you get over those energies. The possessed people, the idea about the possession in India is a very different story. It's a completely different story because if I can say very loudly and very clearly on the public platform, it will not make much sense to it. But the majority of the females that has expressed, if you talk to any good psychiatrist, it's mostly suppression of the physical needs that they, and because of it requires an outlet. So the personality splits at that. That's not a possession. That
So,
is,
are you trying to say that most of the possession cases that come up, they are mostly psychological disorders?
no, that's too much of a generalization. It needs to be tested. We need to whether the in the water, whether the salt is now there or sugar is there. We cannot judge by looking at the water. We have to taste it. It cannot be generalized. So I say there is a very subtle difference between the two. We need to be going to an expert and finding out about the energies. And more science is developing on that. Western culture has a lot of instruments. They don't rely on their personal judgments. And in the Western culture, Smriti, I would like to give you one See, we have been observing, in my experience, the cases in the areas of Dubai and surrounding place, and the US or UK, that's a complete different story. US is full of spirit energies, full of spirit energies. Why is it so? We need to understand that scientifically. That the soul which leaves the body with too much of an attachment, too much of an incompletion that they do in this lifetime. So they cling on to their bodies. And in our culture, our rishis knew this very well. So they always burned the bodies. So there are no traces. There is no way that the body can cling on to, the soul can cling on to the body, or the spirit can cling on to the body.
May I ask you, is it also possible that because in the Western culture, uh, having different partners is considered normal, which is now developing in the East as well?
No,
Is that one of the reasons?
that's a different topic. I will answer that question. Before that, let me tell you this part, the second half of it. That in there the body is in the coffin. So it takes a very long time for bodies to decay. And that's why the spirit doesn't find the way, doesn't leave it, and doesn't get an enough reason to live. And we have seen a lot of Indian people are suffering because of the spirit attack, because of the psychic attacks, because of because a lot of humans there are being controlled and they are being possessed by the spirit energies. So the scientific I mean, if you understand the energy point of view, this is how the energy doesn't travel back to its original place. Answering to your multiple partner case, it has been a trend all over the world over a period of time. And it was not that in the ancient time we had a healthy practices on in the multiple physical relationship, a very important point that we do not take into account or understand. If your frequency is on the higher level, if you interact with a lower level partner, the lower level frequency partner will absorb your energy. Okay? There is a strong possibility that density is also being transferred. The other way around, if you are a lower vibration and have a physical relationship with the person with a higher vibration, you may be elevated. But that's all the energy dynamics between the two that depends on. That is why it is a best practice to be with a partner, a minimum partner as well. Because I cannot at this time, I know the consciousness very well. So at this time, it's very difficult to be with a one because the energy is like that. I don't blame the humans, individuals, the values have shifted, the beliefs have shifted, the culture has shifted. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, indeed, and very beautifully, since it was a very, very sensitive question to ask. Now, since you have given a lot of insight on this and made a lot of things pretty crystal clear, if I may also ask you, what does one do to, raise oneself or elevate oneself to a certain level to either to become immune or be strong enough to fight these energies?
See, one simple thing. Okay. So let us understand what are kind of attacks that we have. We have a psychic attack. Psychic attack is that I send you a thought and I interfere with your energies through something. I mean, I don't see myself. I'm saying an example. X person does it to the Y person. Okay. Then comes the spirit attachments, where the person is attached to the body. Somebody sends the thought form, or some thought form comes from the past life. Then there is something which has been sent through the psychic attacks that I've already told you. So somebody intentionally do something called witchcraft, black magic, or voodoo. So another is, it has been an ancient practice that the child's body parts are used to make an attack, and some products are used where some of your DNA is being used, like your hair, your nail, your blood. Some objects are being used. So, and in the past, in the ancient time, we have seen that the curses are effectively being used to induce some energy interference into the body. So these are the some of the examples we need to understand before actually working on it. So there are some aliens and extraterrestrial bodies which are working. Even angels take over you. Even the ascended master takes over you. Even the demons take over. The dark force entities also affect you. You are also, your souls are fragmented, and some of the soul fragments of somebody operates through you. Or a spirit energy takes you, or even a guide can take it. So, a living human also can take over your energies and thriving on your energies. If you go to any of the hospitals, if you have seen it, you feel drained because diseased person needs an energy. Without that, it cannot thrive on, because that's why it's a very energy draining place that you go when you go to the hospitals. There are imprints can be sent to you. I have also mentioned about the male spirit energies, which is in English, it is called incubus. In the case of the females, it is called, I think, succubus. It is the name. So there are parasites which takes over your energies. People from past life comes and takes over the energies. The spirits which make only noise, that spirit says that I'm there by making the noise only. They are called the poltergeist. The another one is the shapeshifters. The another one is vampires. There are walk-ins. So these are the different kinds that we are unaware. And we try to resolve the issue without identifying which part actually is operating, working, or taking over you. And what is the density of the energy, what the power of the energy is, what is it, what. So if we understand this, the basic, if you do not wish to get attacked, you need to protect your aura. You need to do things like raising your vibration. There are n number of things which you can do. Taking a bath, even the spirits can come through the music also. There are certain frequencies of music where you can draw the spirits. So you listen to the good music and enriching music, the Indian classical music, or Mozart, or some music which raises your frequency. Do the physical activity all the day. Take the energy bath. Means you have to take the white and golden light energy throughout, when you breathe, or more the time you breathe, or just before you go to any new place, or before you go to meet new person. Protect your aura. You imagine yourself in the egg form. An egg form is an energy shield that you carry with yourself. So when you go to the hospital, or you go to the, because I tell you my own example, that for many years I had compulsorily go to some crematories, and that I could not. It was very uncomfortable for me in those days that I could not go there. And when I go there, my whole body get inflated. So I was absorbing the emotions of the people and the energies which were hovering around. And it takes at least 24 to 48 hours for me. I need to take proper rest and a lot of bath and a lot of other activities which actually keeps my energy up. But over a period of time, I got tuned to it. Now I don't see any point where I have to go, and I go at minimum times to this place to protect myself. In the sense that I don't find a need now. I go there, I protect myself fully. So these are the techniques one must use. I use a lot of meditation processes to deal with this. Meditation is the most powerful thing. And simple is to you carry the energy, white light energy from coming from above, and you take the energy bath from your Sastra chakra and let it flow to your entire body. This is the best way to protect yourself, but it is only the protection. If somebody is there within you, some energy is taken over, it is not going to be easy to get rid of it. I think I've shared one example with you of a girl whose mother was, 14-year girl whose mother a healer, and she met me at one event, and somebody referred my name, and she spoke to me. I spoke to her. I have hundreds and thousands of experiences, but this is a very striking example that I can share. So she said the child has some issues in the studies. Can you speak to her? I spoke to her. Before taking up the case, I spoke to her. And just in few seconds, I realized. Then I said, give it to your mother. I hardly asked 2, 3 questions. And I said, mother, there is an energy in her. She says, I know it's there. I have tried many, many things. I said, okay. Can we do it? He said, okay, go ahead. And we immediately agreed on certain things. And we planned a session with her on the call. I have not seen her. And within 10 minutes of our conversation, the energy was gone. While I was conversing, I was doing some process internally, and that the energy is completely out. And when I remove the energy, it's not me who removes. It is my guarantee that in your body, the energies will never ever come. You are protected for the life it comes. It is my responsibility to work with you again. And you know that you have referred so many people and of the challenges in their life. It was not referred to me. Many of the cases were not referred to me as case of possession or a case of haunting or case of any spirit energies or any attachments or psychic attacks. They were referred to me for the life challenges. When the life challenges, when we identify this challenge is not coming from the circumstantial or person's values, belief, and other things, it is operating by certain energies.
I would, on this forum, I would really like to admit this. So, whoever is listening, whoever is watching, I would like to say this that my first conversation with you was regarding I had some marks on my body, which I never realized or never could even imagine that this is because of a psychic attack. And you were very sure about it. And before even I could give you my background, or I could give you more details about myself, you were able to identify very clearly that where this attack was coming from and that this was an attack. And I clearly remember that by the time we spoke for the third time, miraculously, all the marks from my body were gone. So, would you like to throw some light about how, though you did say that there are energies working with you, and it's a blessing to be connected with you. A lot of people, including me, feel that just having you in our life is probably a blessing. Not probably, definitely is a blessing. And how do you do that? How do you identify and how do you work around it? Just taking this example, where there were marks on the body for a lot of months and suddenly they were vanished in a jiffy.
Before you came to your room was completely dark. There was no light. You just switch on the light and the light is there. And if you keep this light open, will there be a darkness at any point of time?
Not at all.
This is how exactly I work. And there is no voodoo, there is no black, there is no other technique. It's just sending the light. And that is this light is directed through the intention. This light is directed with the power that we become the channel, I become the channel, and the energy flows and cleans up everything there. It's not a rocket science because of some wrong practices of so many people, and this the government had to bring the laws against these. But this is the need of an hour. I can shift the energies. I can shift the energies from this bottle itself to the instrument. I can shift the energies of anything in just seconds. It's just the, it's just the power of intention, nothing else. It's a science. And
a science is difficult to explain.
Pardon?
Is it a science that's difficult to explain because it's never written on the
textbook? It's not difficult. I told you. It is like when you are light. So when I'm talking to you, I need to explain one short thing before we conclude. One short thing. We are living in cosmology. Beyond the cosmology, that is visible universe. And cosmology means the entire world is made of 5 elements. And we are living in this 5 element. And there is some energy outside the 5 element, which is called light beings. And that's what we say to our goddesses as Deva. Okay. Now there is an energy from where this different light emits. That is exactly the area. Beyond that, our soul has traveled and is getting the power from there. And that is why it is not a very difficult science. You elevate, you can control things much better.
All right, that also makes a lot of sense. Before we conclude, I would like to ask one question to you. While you were explaining all these things, you also mentioned about angels and spirit guides and ascended masters who can come and take over your body. We always look at these beings as divine. We always believe that they are here to protect us, to help us. So when they do that, is it what could be the purpose? Because we are led to believe that they are elevated beings.
Angels, masters, guides, they're definitely elevated. But it's like your own freedom. Would you like to give your freedom to somebody? We have been trained to surrender. We are very weak. As we have been created weak. We have been asked to be a weak personality. We have been asked to just bow down and follow people. We cannot think of we can transcend to the highest energies because we feel that only enlightened masters can do it. Even they have to go upper and upper in the process. So they need energies. They also need, to pass on the message, but they make you as a medium. And they utilize suppose if I can't say certain things in this camera. If I want to pass on the message, I am utilizing the internet and this system. Whether the message is good or bad, I'm not going to decide that. It is the recipient. So it's our video is there on the Facebook. It's there on the YouTube. It's there all around. The recipient will decide. the content which has been given. So it is a freedom of either the spirit energies, the dense energy, or the light energy to occupy your space and to operate through you. If you allow, they will do it. It's an unconscious allowance. So in some past life, some thought forms you are carrying, some interaction with the people that you had to do an incomplete thing. That is why I say you have to complete everything in this life and only seek the freedom. Humans are bonded completely right now. Completely. I don't see very few humans are elevated to the point that they actually experience the inner freedom. Even the people who have the highest level of freedom, they step down to communicate with the low energy people at this point of time. Why? What is the need? There are silent operators all around. They do not speak with anybody. The Siddhas, the people who are doing meditation in Himalayas. So it's not like the way we perceive the reality. The vibrations are very low at this point of time for the humans. Otherwise, these things will never happen. Was it happening in the past so much? The kind of unrest that you will see in the world is we are being controlled.
All right. And how true is it when we say that animals, especially our pet animals, are able to detect these energies and many a times they take it upon themselves?
Every animal has the hypersensitivity towards some area. They don't have the balance or the five senses as we have. The other day, when if you look at the news these days, the areas that you see in the part of the Uttar Pradesh, they can sense things from the 150 meters. They can listen to the voice, they can sense. So their sensitivity is not the same as our sensitivity. So they definitely give you all the indication.
All right. And
They sacrifice a lot for you. And you have experienced this.
I have. I have personally experienced this, and hence I wanted to ask you this, and I wanted to ask you this in an open forum because there are a lot of people who grieve uh, their pets' deaths, and it gets difficult because the unconditional love you get from them, which is very difficult to experience in today's world. So, do we have more time, or do we have to conclude?
See, it's already 40 minutes. We can have one more session with you with your
Okay.
more questions. It will be a run up to the next because we need to give space and the time for the audience to absorb things. And I feel
All
35 to 40 minutes is the right time to that we should conclude our talk.
Fine. I have a lot of questions to ask, and I would really
Sure,
appreciate if you could give me some more time, and I would come up with a lot of other questions, a
sure,
lot of other
sure. I would love to.
queries and guidance from you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you so much.
Guruji. Thanks a lot.